listening to Crystal Clear Lore, a Wormsong production. The fog that clung to the Blackwater marshes never fully lifted. Even at noon, it hung in thick, gray curtains over the stagnant pools and tangled root systems of the drowned cypress trees, muting every sound until the world felt half-drowned itself. Locals called the place the Maw, and they avoided it after dark. Most of them, at least. But Emil did not. For 3 years, the river traders had spoken of a creature that lived in the deepest channels of the Maw, a thing that left behind shimmering, iridescent plates the size of a man's palm. Those plates, when ground and mixed with certain resins, produced a pigment that never faded. Iridescent blue-black in shadow, shifting to a shade reminiscent of a living emerald when in the light. The dye masters in the coastal cities paid fortunes for a single pouch of it. Emil had debts to pay, children to feed, and only a small hope that the monster was just some unknown creature no one had named. He poled his flat-bottomed skiff through the narrower channels, with water so still it mirrored the fog above. The air smelled of rot and wet iron. Emil swallowed in anticipation as he was only armed with a couple of harpoons and a fishing knife. As he neared his destination, he froze as something large shifted beneath the surface, sending a slow ripple against the hull. But nothing appeared. He exhaled and kept moving. By late afternoon, he reached the place that traders called the Nest. It was a circular depression where 3 deep channels met. The water in the area was black and motionless. Cypress knees rose like broken teeth around the rim. Emil dropped a weighted line and waited. The head broke the surface without a sound. It was long and narrow, more eel than serpent, the skin a mottled slate that drank the light. 2 pale eyes, lidless and the color of dirty ice, fixed on him. Behind it, a second head rose, then a third, then a fourth, each slightly different in the set of the jaw, the ridge of bone above the eyes, the way the gill slits fluttered. They moved independently, tasting the air with thin, forked tongues that flickered like wet knives. The body that supported them remained hidden beneath the water, a thick, muscular coil that shifted the entire surface of the pool when it turned. Emil had expected something like the old stories, the many-headed water beasts of river folklore. He shook with fear as he raised the harpoon slowly, aiming for the nearest neck. The creature struck while he was still steadying himself. One head lunged, jaws opening far wider than seemed possible. Rows of needle teeth flashing. Emil threw himself sideways. The skiff rocked hard. The harpoon went into the water and was gone. A second head came from the opposite side, slamming into the skiff hard enough to crack the wood. Emil rolled, scrambled for the spare harpoon, and drove it into the soft tissue just below one set of eyes. The head recoiled with a wet, choking hiss. Dark blood, almost black, welled up and mixed with the marsh water. The other heads did not retreat. Instead, they began to move in concert, circling the damaged boat. Emil watched, heart hammering as the wounded neck thickened. Flesh swelled and bone pushed outward. Within a minute, a 5th head was forming. Smaller at first, then rapidly taking shape. Same pale eyes, same needle teeth. The original wound sealed as if it had never been. Emil's blood went cold at the sight. He had listened to the old stories, as many had. You cut off one head, 2 more grow in its place. He had dismissed them as exaggeration. Now he understood the truth was worse. The creature did not simply replace what was lost. It improved. He abandoned the idea of killing it outright, instead focusing on surviving first. He grabbed the pole and shoved hard against a cypress tree, trying to push the skiff into the narrower channel behind him. One of the heads intercepted the pole, bit it clean through, and spat the pieces into the water. Another head rose directly in front of the boat, jaws gaping. Emil drove his knife into the roof of its mouth. The head thrashed, nearly tearing the blade from his grip. More blood. More swelling. The fog thickened while the light was failing. Emil realized the creature was hurting him. Every time he tried to pull towards the open water, a head blocked the way. Every time he tried to beach the skiff on a muddy bank, another head rose from the shallows. The nest was a trap, and he had entered it willingly. He had to find a different way. The idea came to him as he swore the damn monster grinned. The scales, which is why he had come in the first place. If the creature shed them the way traders claimed, there had to be a den somewhere nearby. Somewhere it returned to rest, or to molt. He scanned the far bank in between, dodging the heads. There, half hidden by hanging moss, a dark opening in the roots of a massive cypress. He saw it. The mouth of a den. Emil waited until 3 of the heads were occupied with the remains of his broken pole, then threw himself over the side into the cold, knee-deep water near the bank. The mud sucked at his boots. He staggered, half swimming, half crawling, toward the opening. Behind him, the water exploded as the creature surged after him. He reached the roots and scrambled inside, just as a head slammed into the entrance hard enough to shake the entire tree. The den was larger than it looked from outside, a low, water-filled chamber that smelled of fish and something older, like wet stone and copper. The floor was littered with the shed scales he had come for, each one the size of a hand, gleaming even in the dim light that filtered through the entrance. Emil scooped as many as he could into his satchel. Then, at the back of the chamber, something moved. He froze and tried to make out the shape in the dark, taking a step back when he realized what it was. The body of the beast. It was vast, far larger than the necks that rose from the surface outside suggested. It was as thick as a river barge, coiled in loops. The skin was the same mottled slate, but here it was covered in old scars and newer growths. Emil saw, with a slow horror, that some of the necks were not fully attached. They hung like afterthoughts, half-formed, waiting. The creature was not a single animal with many heads. It was a colony of minds sharing one body, constantly rewriting itself. One of the smaller heads inside the den turned toward him. It was incomplete, eyes still milky, jaws not yet fully set with teeth. It regarded him with something that was not quite hunger and not quite curiosity. Nauseous, Emil backed toward the entrance. The main heads outside had withdrawn slightly, perhaps sensing the disturbance deeper in. He had a window, but he did not flee. Instead, he pulled some water-sealing resin from his boots and smeared it across the largest pile of dry root and scale debris at the back of the chamber. He struck his fire striker until the resin caught. Blue-green flame licked upward, fed by the unique oils in the shed scales. The incomplete head recoiled, hissing in fear. The great body shifted, coils tightening in alarm. Emil ran. He burst from the den as smoke began to pour out behind him. The heads outside reacted at once, some lunging toward the entrance, others toward the man stumbling through the shallows. He reached the damaged skiff, shoved it free of the mud, and pulled hard into the nearest channel, not looking back. Behind him, the fire found the creature's body. The water around the nest boiled with thrashing coils. Heads rose and fell while some burned. Some regenerated even as the flames consumed them. New flesh forming over charred bone, only to catch fire again. Emil did not stop to catch his breath until the fog in the distance swallowed the nest completely. He reached the outer marsh by nightfall, clutching the satchel heavy with scales. The skiff was half swamped and leaking, but it carried him. He never returned to the maw. Years later, when the dye masters asked how he had harvested so many perfect plates in a single trip, Emil only shrugged and said the creature had been generous. He never mentioned the fire, or the way the incomplete head had looked at him in the dark, or the fact that, on certain nights, when the fog rolled in from the coast, he still dreamed of pale eyes and the sound of something vast, rewriting itself in the black water, growing new mouths with which to remember him.
Welcome back to Crystal Clear Lore. I'm Crystal, and I am joined once again by my co-host, Brady.
Hello.
So, as you might have judged from the story, we are back on the topic of dragons this week with a new type to discuss.
To be honest, I didn't really ever consider the Hydra as a dragon, although obviously it should be considered that. It just has a lot of heads, and I just never really put that together.
It's a dragon, I would say dragonoid, like a humanoid dragonoid.
There's a good word for it, dragonoid.
Well, this is our third one, so if you've missed it, please go back and listen to the European and Asian dragon episodes after you finish here. Talks about why we are going over so many different types of dragons and the 12 types of dragons and all that. Interestingly enough, though, there is only one dragonoid named a Hydra.
Hail Hydra?
No, not Hail Hydra.
Is that just in Marvel?
That's just Marvel.
Okay, sorry, Cap.
But there's only one quote-unquote Hydra, and it's Greek. However, the classification relates to any draconid with multiple heads. Through my research, which was long and arduous, I found 10 different ones with multiple heads that would qualify under this definition. So there's only 10 types of Hydras.
Only 10, huh?
Only 10.
Oh, no.
So we have to start off with the Hydra, the Lernaean Hydra. This Hydra is Hellenic, meaning it has an origin in Greek and Roman tales, and the earliest stories date back to 700 BCE. It was said to have lived in the lake of Lerna, which was thought to be a gate to the Underworld. This creature was so great and terrible that it had poisonous breath, and its blood was so virulent that the smell of it was deadly.
I thought you were going to say poisonous breasts.
No breasts. Lizards don't have breasts. That's a mammalian feature. Dragons are lizard/avian.
Well, we did that one episode that had all the genitals and poop in it a couple weeks ago.
We're not in Japan yet. The Lernaean Hydra, though, does poop. Just a heads up, he does poop.
There's the poop. I knew there would be poop.
It's always poop.
It's always poop.
He does possess many heads, and it has a regeneration feature. For every head that gets lopped off, 2 more appear. This is the basis for the Hydra in Disney's Hercules, which 100% gave me nightmares as a little kid, because that was super freaky.
Might have been the first gore I ever saw.
It is kind of gory. I don't think it was the gore. It was the scene, and I'm such a Disney nerd from watching too much of it as a kid, where there's like a bunch of them and they're all kind of like looking at Hercules as he's pinned against the cliff face.
Yeah.
And they're all like vicious and they're trying to eat him. That freaked me out.
What about the part where was he in the stomach of that, or am I conflating that with a different Titan?
It eats him, but it only goes down to like halfway through the neck and then he cuts through it before he's swallowed. That's
right. That's what I was thinking of, because I remember that you see like the cross section of the neck.
Yeah, that was freaky.
That's what I'm talking about with the gore.
Ah.
And it looked like a T-bone steak or whatever, or like a ham hock.
Yeah, it looked like a ham. It was freaky. I don't know. That one was like, it was really intense too. So
it was probably one of Disney's better action scenes, at least of the era.
Yeah, I would say so. It was very, very good. So it shows up in Disney's Hercules because in the canonical Hellenic stories, the killing of Hydra was the second of Hercules' 12 labors. We're going to have to maybe do a whole little summarization of that because it does keep popping up.
So a Hercules episode?
Well, it's not going to be like Disney at all, and it's going to ruin your childhood.
Like you haven't already with this show?
Fair enough. However, Hercules only succeeded in this labor canonically because he received help from his nephew, Iolaus. Iolaus had the idea that if you cauterized each head after it was cut, it couldn't regenerate.
You know, the logic is a bit solid on that one.
It is.
It worked for Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about Darth Maul.
We'll have to do a Darth Maul deep dive. Wrong show.
Wrong show. Seeing that Hercules was actually winning, Hera sent the crab Cancer to distract him. We covered more of this in our Cancer episode back in June, so make sure to check that out if you want a little bit more information on the crab.
Cancer means crab.
It does. Brady remembered something. Hooray!
I'm studying for the quiz.
Yes, there will be a pop quiz at the end of season 1. I have taken malicious pleasure formulating the questions.
This is just for me, not for you. There's no homework for you. You just sit back and listen, audience.
It would be fun to take the quiz with Brady, but you don't have to. You can just sit there and laugh at him while he struggles. Okay, now that's the big famous Hydra, but there is an earlier dragon that has multi-heads, and it's from the Zoroastrians.
Is that also regenerative?
This one is maybe, because I didn't find anything about it's getting its head cut off.
So maybe he's just more of a badass.
Maybe. So his name is Zahak, also known as Azi Dahaka, and it is a literal personification of evil in Zoroastrianism.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the name.
like Satan or the great serpent whose name I can't say because I'm comedic, or I don't know, the big bad evil guy. There's always a big bad evil in every religion. So Zahak has 3 heads and is possessed of all possible sin and evil counsel. He is said to live in the inaccessible fortress of Kurinta in the land of Babri, which some historians have looked at and they think that could be Babylon.
Kind of makes sense.
Just because there's a lot of similarities between Babylon and Babri and how that was a similar name, but also like they talk about the lands and they're very similar feeling.
This wouldn't be uncommon for one place to be called something and then change the name.
Right, exactly. We have also seen dragons be portrayed as evil before, most notably the European dragons being seen as being tied to the Christian devil.
Or the evil hoarders of treasure who murdered villages and pillage.
Yeah, that also is mostly European dragons we found out.
Quick note on that, and I wish I would have seen this meme before the dragon episode we did, the first one for the European dragons.
Okay,
think about this.
Mm-hmm.
They eat all of the village people and stuff, and they poop the treasure because they're never actually seen carrying the treasure back to the horde.
So wait, they eat the guys that sing YMCA, and then they poop gold.
Yeah.
So they're just a record company.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You could describe a record company as a dragon in metaphorical terms. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool. I got it.
Please sign us, Warner Brothers. I don't want to push buttons anymore.
They never will. We're not famous. Another Hydra-like creature is the Russian Zime. It is extremely similar to the Slavic Chudo-Yudo, which I just love saying, and it is probably the same creature.
Are you sure that's how that's pronounced? That doesn't even sound Slavic.
Chudo-Yudo.
Chudo-Yudo.
Chudo-Yudo. Yeah, Chudo-Yudo.
Chudo-Yudo.
It's just fun to say.
It's like Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota. This creature has 3, 6, 9, or 12 heads, all of which can regenerate. So my theory is they saw it at different times in its life cycle.
I got stuck on 369 because my brain went,
369, yeah.
Copyright.
However, this is a bit of a unique creature compared to the Greek Hydra because this one can shapeshift into a young, beautiful human.
Oh, so that's like, I've seen some kind of media where the dragon shape shifted into a human. It was something we watched together, I'm pretty sure. Maybe, what's that cartoon?
Vox Machina.
Yeah, wasn't that one depicting a shape?
Yes, because that is part of the dragon lore in D&D is that they can shapeshift into humans, but most notably during the Waterdeep campaign, which I've DM'd way too many times, which is why I know all this. Not the Waterdeep, the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. You have an advisor who turns out to be a metallic dragon that shapeshifted.
Spoiler alert.
That campaign is old.
Yeah.
That's an old campaign.
Well, I don't know. They haven't made a Stranger Things season about it yet, so yeah.
All right, fair enough. So what the Zime does as it shapeshifts into a young human is it seduces people away, which stays in line with the dragon stealing away the princess trope. However, the female Zemya may also be out there nabbing a prince or two.
Zemya.
There are a lot of different Russian fairy tales about this creature, and I'm running back into the Slavic thing of where it's passed down orally for generations, so we don't really know how old these stories are. The earliest documentation we have of this is from the 11th century. So it's probably older, but again, didn't write it down. We don't have records. So the last one that I'm going to do a deep dive on, I'm not doing a deep dive on all of them because we'll be here for 2 hours. And also, some of them I really struggled to find good, solid information on that didn't seem like it was crappy. So the last one we'll talk about is the Romanian Balor. It is another Hydra-esque creature, and this is why I'm struggling to find this. Romanians don't write things down. They just don't.
How do their banks work?
Well, folklore-wise, like genealogy is not a thing, so they don't have like birth records and death records and all that for like a huge part of their history.
Well, thank God for genealogy then, like 23andMe and DNA tests and stuff.
Well, still, you can have Romanian blood and still not know like who those ancestors were after a point because there just wasn't written down. There was no log of it. So because of their tradition of, again, oral sharing, not writing things down, the earliest written record of the Balor is the 19th century, which is really, really late.
That's really, really recent.
Yeah, it's because they didn't write anything down, right? So that's why you have like a whole portion of the family lines of like the royals, which are the most documented, just are gone because like nobody really knows how many children so-and-so had. Did he have bastard children? Nobody knows. It was never really like a thing. It's a giant mess.
It's a nightmare for archivists.
It really is, but most of the time people are like, oh, well, yeah, like my great-grandmother said that so-and-so was her father, and then they kind of can piece stuff together, but it's difficult.
Well, if you think about it, for a long, long time, everything was oral tradition anyway, or oral history anyway, until a certain point when we figured out written language, which I believe was the Sumerians. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah, Sumerian is the oldest one we found.
They still out there digging.
Now, this is interesting because the Balor is another type of dragon that is evil, kidnaps maidens, and gets defeated by a hero, right? Even though he's got odd heads. Sometimes the hero is St. George or a local hero named Fat Frumos. And I cannot deal with his name, and I'm so sorry to any Romanian listeners. I can't. I try. I can't.
Please understand what fat means in American, and you get
Fat Frumos. So anyway, Fat Frumos is a gorgeous youth and is portrayed as a stereotypical protagonist, Prince Charming type. Now, okay, this is where we run into a lot of issues with the Romanian dragons. This particular dragon sometimes be like, oh, it's a Balor in this story, and it's the same story, and it's the other Romanian dragon, which is a Zimu.
Like Xenu, the Scientology character?
No, Zmeu. Zmu.
Oh, you know what? I remember when Google Gemini first launched. That was like one of the first things we looked up on there because I was curious because you were talking about it at the time. And I was like, oh, hey, look, I got this AI. Let's look it up. And it was struggling.
Yeah, because it's Romanian. Yeah. Nothing's written down.
It was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's kind of a thing about it.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I'll talk a little bit more about the Balor because there is a lot of lore that is now written down about it. But if somebody is listening and is like, well, I heard that this was the Zimu, it probably was in your version. You're probably 100% correct because apparently those two get mixed up a lot. And the Zimu's not a Hydra. It'll have to be covered in its own episode.
Wasn't he like good? I thought he was like the hero of the story or something.
Well, okay, that's why we have to talk about him in a different one because there's a whole bunch of lore with that. But then again, sometimes that goes to the Balor. Sometimes it's with the Skullomance. Sometimes it's not. With the Skullomance is going to have its own episode because I have to.
Well, that was word soup with Crystal.
Every time I dig into anything that's like Slavic or Romanian, this drives me up the wall because nothing was written down.
And all the names are weird.
Or the USSR got rid of a lot. There is that possibility too. I don't know if they did because again, if they did, they didn't say anything.
There's a lot of book burnings at one point in history.
There's a lot.
For various different characters.
It's a nightmare to try to find some stuff because it's like, well, that probably got burned. But there are 3 types that we know of Balor. There's air, water, and earth. So the Balor spit can form precious stones, which is a very common thing for serpents, not hydras. Serpents are a different type of dragon that we'll have to cover in a different dragon episode. The most intriguing thing that I found about the Balor, though, is that the air-dwelling version causes trees to be uprooted, objects being tossed about, and meteorological storms when they fight.
That sounds freaking cool.
So this is why they also get tied to the Skullomance and get tied to the type of dragon that controls the weather, which is a real thing in Romanian lore.
That's freaking cool.
It's really cool.
Like if I had an enemy, I would just hit him with a hurricane real quick. I don't know. It probably takes a lot of energy to do a tornado.
I think it mostly is tornadoes and they just blame the Balor.
Well, tornadoes are terrifying and powerful. It'd be like the ultimate weapon. But I digress.
Balor also can utilize the rainbow as a road, and they suck out any moisture from the clouds to cause rain.
Okay, we've got so many elements of Mario now. I'm putting this together. We've got creature kidnaps the princess and the hero has to save her. And then we have the rainbow road. Mm-hmm. And then we have treasure, like gold coins and such. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just Mario. Yeah. Well, there's only so many ways to tell a story, right? And the whole rescue the princess trope, it's universal because most women for a long time were seen as incompetent because they literally couldn't function outside their homes. They were not taught anything. So there's a few more Hydra-esque creatures that I'll kind of gloss over. Again, I did not find a lot of good sources for this. That did not seem like it was not secondary or tertiary or just something someone said. I didn't find a lot of primary resources. Well, dragons are just one of those pain in our butt subjects because most of the subjects we talk about, there's just like one thing, like okay, maybe with the exception of Bigfoot. There's quite a bit of different kind of Bigfoot creatures. But like with dragons, we have to do so many episodes. We do. On just the different types of dragons. And most of the time, like with, let's just say with like a yokai, there's just like one of that named yokai. One yokai episode we did that had 2 was the Nuke-Kube and the Roku-Rokubi. But that was, you can kind of easily do that in one episode. And they're 2, but they're not the same thing. They're not the same. They're very similar. Yeah. But there's just so many different variations of the stories of dragons or hydras or wyverns or anything. There's just so much. There's a ton. This is kind of our thorn in the side, if you will.
I cannot wait till we get done with the last dragon episode and I don't have to research the different types of dragons anymore. I'm not going to lie. I'm very much looking forward to that.
And then Dungeons and Dragons will come out with a new dragon.
They wouldn't dare, because I won't count that as real because I don't respect the Wizards of the Coast that much.
They're going to be like dungeons and just a couple different dragons.
Like real talk for a minute. They actually came out with a whole book about dragons. It's called Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and they introduced gem dragons. So they already came out with a new type of dragon for D&D, because there was just colored dragons, which were evil, and metallic dragons, which were good. And then like gem dragons are middle of the road. So you could be all these different gem dragons. And then there's fairy dragons now. So they're already doing that.
But those are easy because those are kind of archetypal, but these are just like straight up different lore, different countries, different parts of history, different tales.
So much.
Some similar elements to the stories, but completely different things. It's very fascinating, actually. Dragons have just been a persistent part of history.
So there are 3 different hydras that we're going to kind of have to delve into a little bit. There's 3 last ones. The first one is from Africa. This is the African Kirimu, and it is from Central Africa. In the epic from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Kirimu is described as a massive, dark-skinned creature with a large belly, dog-like teeth, an eagle's tail, and 7 horned heads.
Yeah, of course it is, because that's just normal.
It's similar to the Balor on this, is that it shares a powerful blood pact with the lightning god, so thus it is a formidable force of nature in the story.
Yeah, there's that similar element there with controlling the weather kind of thing.
Yeah, so very weather-based. Which is not for all hydras. I've learned that too, because that's like the 2 that are.
Well, in a way, I guess dragons are always kind of an embodiment of power.
Well, and what is more powerful than the weather, because there's nothing you can do about it.
Fair enough.
So then the Lithuanians have the...
And these are all just hydras, by the way.
These are just hydras. There's 10 hydras.
This isn't even the other types of regular dragons.
These are the, oh boy, Slibinas. Slibinas. I'm trying my best. That one threw me. It is Slavic and Baltic, so that's why you got that overlap, and my brain just can't.
So if you want to pronounce it right, you just have to drink a bunch of vodka.
Yeah, there we go. Give me a bottle of vodka, and then I'll get it. In this one, it is a menacing reptile, right? It often features 3, 6, or 9 heads, which we've seen before, and it also regenerates.
There's a bit of copy in there.
This could be the same thing as the Chudo-Yudo, but...
told from a different perspective.
Yeah, I can't find anything like much about this Slibinus, so I don't know.
Nothing officially linking them. It's like, oh, they stole this from the Romanians, or the other way around, maybe even.
Right, and that's the thing. So I'm looking into it, and I'm digging into it, and it could be different, but there's just not a lot of info, and because, you know, you have... So the issue that I had with like the Kirimu is apparently there's a huge cruise line called the Kirimu. Guess what most of the websites were about? The cruise line.
Well, that would be really a good opportunity for them to dress up the ship like a dragon.
This is true. And they would actually probably make more money because who doesn't want to ride a dragon?
I would like to be paid for that idea.
They're not going to pay you. Well, and then
neither do you.
The Slibinus is apparently a type of typeface. And there's like one sculpture that is about, it says 3.5 meters. So what is that? That is 10 feet tall. And it is by Vitatas Karšiauskas. And it's mounted on the wall of the old town of Klaipėda in Lithuania. It is a drainpipe, but it is not a Hydra-esque creature. This is a serpent, not a Hydra.
We got to do a serpent episode now because there's so many stark differences.
There is. The serpent episode, I think, is going to have to be the next one. But the serpent it's just completely different. So I'm like, why did you have mythology of the one creature with multiple heads and then also be like, I made a cool statue about it that I'm calling the same exact thing and it's not a Hydra? I know the Lithuanian word for dragon is Slibinus. It makes it very difficult when I'm trying to research because I'm not finding anything like very well documented on it. Drive me psycho. The last one is the Persians, which they have the Gorgon, which is said to be a 7-headed dragon that resides on the land and in the sea.
What about the air?
Nope, no air here.
I was just thinking of the on land, in air, and sea from the Navy or whatever. It's the Navy theme song.
Does the Navy have planes?
Yeah, the Navy has planes.
I thought the Navy was just boats.
They got everything.
Man, I can't keep it straight.
They're like the Swiss Army people.
I thought that was the Marines.
They all are. I don't even know why they name themselves anymore. It's all should just be one conglomerate of armed forces. But again, I digress.
Thought the Navy was boats and the Air Force was planes.
It's in the Navy theme song.
Oh, because I listen to the Navy theme song. You know me. I'm always around the house singing the Navy theme song.
They didn't pump you full of propaganda in the early 2000s like
I'm
they did
a
with
woman.
us? You didn't go to assemblies filled with military propaganda like my school?
No.
Well, it's maybe because there was an Air Force base nearby.
Yeah, it definitely was because of that. We had recruiters, but it was never pushed that hard on us.
There's a Navy base over there.
Yeah, there is. We could literally, we can see the lake it's based off of. But, that's not the point. It's not that heavily pushed to us.
Interesting. Well,
Also,
anyway, sorry, audience. I didn't know she didn't know the Navy theme song.
Also, I'm a woman. There's a limit. I'm not up for the draft. You are. Well, you were.
They didn't just go door to door and sing the Navy theme song. Maybe they should try that. That might actually work.
I absolutely want our friend's son, who is actively in the Navy right now, to do that.
Just goes up like a cappella group. Me, 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 me. And then just belts out the theme song and dips. But anyway, I've taken us off the rails.
I did, but also I would pay to see it.
So dragons are the Navy is what we've just established. So anyways, the water and the land.
Yes, the Gorgon. So he's Persian. And this one is weird because it links the name and the concept. It's probably very similar to the Greek Gorgons, like Medusa and her two sisters.
What about the Demigorgon?
Isn't that Stranger Things?
That was ripped right out of D&D, I believe.
The Demogorgon is from specifically Stranger Things. Is like their.
It was literally about them playing a D&D campaign from a D&D book, named and licensed. I'm not sure. It could have been made up for the show, but that's what I perceived.
The Demogorgon in D&D is from. He's a devil.
Yeah, but he's a Gorgon. Is the name?
No, because a Gorgon's different.
I thought it was just a classification of Gorgon.
No,
language sucks.
Gorgons, there's only 3 Gorgons. 3. That's it. You have Medusa and her two sisters, Stheno and Uriel. I have no idea if I said that right. Uriel?
Uriel? Not Uriel.
It's Euryale.
Oh, Uriel? Urali? This has just been one of those episodes where we can't pronounce anything.
It's Uri. Oh boy.
Uriel.
Uriale. Yes, Uriale. There we go.
Yep, didn't even think of that one.
So yeah, the Gorgons, there are specifically 3 of them. They all have snakes for hair. It's a very specific thing. The Gorgon probably comes, it's the Persian that probably got telephone gamed into a draconid that has multiple heads because snakes for hair.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, with Medusa. The Medusa oblongata.
I have no idea what that is. Just whoosh right over me.
The medulla oblongata.
I don't know what that is either.
The anger center in the brain.
Oh, is that what that thing's called?
Oh my God, I can't with her. She didn't see The Water Boy either.
I haven't watched The Water Boy in
She doesn't know what the Navy is. She's never seen The Water Boy.
No, I have too seen The Water Boy because I remember the scene where Adam Sandler is looking at the line of people and he's imagining it to be his coach that he hates.
Oh yeah. Great freaking scene. In that movie, one of the most famous jokes even today is when the teacher's talking about why are alligators so angry? Because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. And he's talking about the medulla oblongata for 3 minutes.
My brain did not hold on to that information at all.
Apparently not. The one intellectual part of the movie and you're like, nope. This is one of those episodes, guys. I love it.
Did not keep that info at all. I just dropped that like it was hot. It probably got replaced with something for D&D.
Yeah, I bet it did. Well, yeah, I think you were just stuck in the subject there. I love it.
I don't remember that at all. I also I haven't watched it in a very long time.
That's fair. I thought it was funny. I'm sorry, I've been taking us off the rails so much this episode, but it's all in fun.
It is, and we're learning all sorts of things because I didn't even know about the medulla oblongata. So look at that.
Yeah, spell that.
MEDULA space OAB. Medulla ob. And then OBLA la ga. And then GATA.
I'm guessing it means oblong.
Oh, nope, I was close. So it is MEDULLA OBLONGATA.
Like oblong, something that's oblong.
Yes.
Anyway.
So that is going to wrap up my little discussion on hydras, though, because I don't have a lot of good primary sources for 3 of them, and I felt bad, but I tried really hard to make sure people know when it's not a primary resource, because it could just be some internet gunk, and we've run into that multiple times before.
Not even the AIs can avoid it now. That's why they're ripping up all those books, but we won't get into it.
Whoa. Back up. Rewind, pause. What are they doing to books?
They have this machine that scans books. And so they're buying up all these secondhand books to train AI on human language that is not poisoned by AI output. Because now the internet is basically pure AI output and bots and social media language. So to train it on actual human language throughout history and how it's evolved and everything, they put it in this machine when the machine slices the binding down and then rapidly scans the pages somehow. But then these are secondhand books, mind you, that they purchase. And so I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on the whole thing because there's a bit of copyright ethics involved in my opinion, but that's as far as that really goes. I don't think destroying the books is that big of a deal because they're just one of many copies that someone's already read and it's sitting on shelves for a long time. There's plenty of other copies existing. So you guys think what you will about that. You're still destroying books, but it's whatever.
I have a big anti-destroying books thing though.
But all of those books are digitized already most of the time. So.
If they're already digitized, then why are they buying the new books? Why are they buying the actual physical copy of the book?
Because they're a lot cheaper than buying the license to the digitized version that already exists.
Oh, you mean like that's why libraries have ebook issues and we can't get ebooks very easily because the publishing company only lets us have like 4 copies and you get to check those out 20 times each. And after that, we have to buy them again, even though the price is like 10 times what a physical copy would be?
Exactly the same reason why they buy secondhand books, yes.
So I say we take out AI and then we take out the publishing companies.
I don't know about that. That just seems, I got stuff to do. That's a really long adventure.
Anyway, if you guys did miss our announcement last week, Brady and I agreed that we are going to be AI free. So the thumbnail for this episode is our first one that we've done by hand. And be kind because, man, I haven't made a thumbnail in the most hot of minutes. So it's work in progress.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's just, we were trying to save some time. We didn't have a lot of resources starting out. But now we're at a good place where we can make better art for our thumbnails by hand. So I hope you guys enjoy them. And they're just little thumbnails. I mean, most of the time they're just scrolled past anyway, but
we're trying.
Maybe you look at them for 3 seconds when you click it. But anyway, I mean, it's still better, I think. We don't want to be drowning in the sea of AI slop. We're actually humans making this. I don't know if you guys know that. I try to make sure that's pretty clear by mumble mouthing all the time, but.
Yeah. Well, are you human? You sure?
I clicked the box and I clicked on all the ones with the traffic lights or the buses. Oh, you know what gets me? When they ask you, click all the squares with cars. And then they'll throw like a truck in the background. You're like, is that a car? Would they have said automobile if they mean that too?
No, I hate that. I really wish that they would fix that because I've definitely failed them being like, I don't know if you mean that this is a car.
They're like traffic lights and then you see one that's like way in the background. You're like, does that count? Like click all the ones with boats and like a picture of the Titanic's on the wall. And then there's like 3 sailboats and a speedboat and a jet ski. And you're like, I really feel like this is like a test, but not to if I'm human or not. This is like an intelligence test.
And we fail them consistently. So I hope for as much as we're able to, we have made Hydras and our departure from AI crystal clear.
I got it real quick. Put a bunch of the different dragons we've talked about in the Hydras. Click all the boxes with a dragon.
Guess what?
Pass that, motherfucker.
This was episode 3. We have 9 more. Pray for me.
Oh boy, here we go. I like this series. The dragons are fun, but
you don't have to research them.
No. I just have to mix and push the buttons. So, hey.
Fair enough.
But yes, we hope this made Hydras crystal clear.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Threads and Insta at Wormsong Media. That's WYRMSONG Media. Want to reach out to us? Email us at wormsongmedia@gmail. Again, that's WYRMSONGMEDIA@gmail.